He kicks it short. It'll be picked up right about the 40-yard line. Look like he
And the
fumbled.
ball is fumbled, and looks like Brandon picked it up at about the 41-yard line.
And look
A
like it's going to
short
be
kick
recovered by Brandon.
and nearly recovered by the
55.
Gators, but Brandon would start the first drive of this game at the 41. Their own 41, but nearly a big break for the Gators kicking off. Kickoff was by Johnny Smith. And if you look at this Gators team, they started a lot of guys 7th and 8th grade. So this team in a little bit of a different formation here for Brandon as they drop it to the quarterback in the backfield. He picks up about 3 up to about the 44-yard line. So we'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Brandon opens up in the shotgun.
So Brandon comes out with a little trickery to try to catch the Gators offside. As we said earlier, Brandon lost the first game 30-6, so they're looking to get that fast start so they don't have to play behind, especially in this championship game. Tight end goes in motion.
Look like number.
Shotgun snap, gives it to the running back. He picks up maybe a yard, so it will bring up a 3rd and about 6 here for Brandon on their opening drive. Not the way they wanted to start. They're not necessarily behind the chains, but it is an obvious passing situation here for Brandon. That Gators defensive front is stout so far, not allowing those big holes to open up. And it's forcing Brandon now in a passing situation here with 6:35 remaining in the first quarter.
Brandon come out with a spread offense with single backfield.
3rd and 6. Tight end in motion. Shotgun snap, gives it to the running back. He picks up about 3.
Bring up 4th down and a long 2.
And it will bring up 4th down.
Talk about number 11 for the Gators.
Interested to see what Brandon will do here in this opening drive. You would like to set the tone, show Vicksburg this is not the same team that you played early in the season. And it looks like with about 4th and a long 3, they're going to go for it in a pistol formation.
Once again, be number 2 at quarterback along with number 8.
Oh, we have a false start, and Brandon will probably have to punt it now. So the false start will push it back 5.
And we have a flag on the play. Look like it's going to go
and
Brandon.
Possibly Brandon was probably trying to draw the Gators outside to get the free first down, but now
and it's going to look like it's going to be a false start. Going to back them up 5 yards.
It looks like that Brandon may have to punt.
Bringing up 4th and a long.
Dropping back deep to return the punt is number 10, Christian Henderson,
and look like they're going to
for the Gators.
Deep. For the Gators, look like it'd be number 18.
Nearly blocked punt. Gets out of bounds. It looks like the 43. And they move it back to the 42, and that's where the Gators will have it 1st and 10 for their first drive with 5:38 remaining in the first quarter. So a great defensive segment right there for the Vicksburg Gators. A strong offensive team we have here, and these young Gators. And it looks like the Gators will have a bright future coming up here at Memorial Stadium. Number 1, Ronnie Alexander in at quarterback. In the shotgun, 2 receivers top. 1 man comes in motion, gives him the handoff. So a little bit of a speed jet sweep on the first play. A positive play for the Gators puts them in a more manageable 2nd down. So the whole playbook has now been opened up for the Gators after that positive play of, we'll call it 5, maybe 6 on the first carry. 2 receivers top, 2 receivers at the bottom. Gives it to the running back, has a big hole up to the 40, down to the 35, and he's dragged down at about the 32-yard line of Brandon. So the hole opened up wide, and now the Gators are on the move on their first drive. Big hole, great job by the offensive line to get the push up front. Gators come out in the same set. Man comes in motion, same play. Oh no, the quarterback keeps it. He finds a crease along the right side, and he has another first down for the Vicksburg Gators all the way up to the 22-yard line. So about a 12-yard pickup there for the Vicksburg Gators by Ronnie Alexander. Gators on the move. 4:32 left in the first quarter. Little Six championship game. Give it to the running back up the middle. Fighting tackles down to the 15-yard line. Pickup of about 7. And this Gators offense is now humming, moving the ball effortlessly down the field. Man comes in motion. They give it to him. Finds a hole up the middle. Shakes loose a couple of tackles. And another first down for the Vicksburg Gators. Deep inside the red zone now. And it will be first and goal at the 9-yard line.
It'll be first and goal.
4 wide receivers set. Alexander takes his snap, takes it himself down to the 1-yard line, and he fumbled, but they say he was down, so it'll be second and goal from inside the 1. 3:32 on the clock, and the Vicksburg Gators have pushed the ball down the field with ease. Second and goal. Alexander waiting for the snap, takes the snap, gives it to the running back, and walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Vicksburg Gators. Gators look like they're going for 2. Alexander on a bootleg, looking for an open man, drops it in the end zone, and it will be incomplete. So the intended target could not hang on, and the score will remain 6-0 with 3:24 remaining in the first quarter.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Back here at the Little Six championship game, 8th grade, where the Vicksburg Gators lead the Brandon Bulldogs by the score of 6-0. After the 57-yard touchdown drive by the Gators, and we have a big return here up to about the 41-yard line for Brandon. So almost identical field position for Brandon from the first drive.
All the way up to about the 40-yard line, 41. Once again, Brandon opened up with good field position. Quarterback number 2.
So Brandon will come out.
Along with number 8.
at the 41-yard line, 1st and 10 with 3:12 remaining in the first quarter. Shotgun snap, guard pulls, hits the hole, still driving. Hard run that time by the running back for Brandon. He refused to go down. It looked like he was going to be stopped for a gain about 2, but he fell forward for about 4 more yards. So it'll bring up 2nd and a long 5 here. Gators showing blitz on the outside. Hands off up the middle again, and that will be a first down for Brandon, their first of the game. And so now the Brandon Bulldogs starting to pick up a little offensive motion here. Once again, this is the first ever Little Six championship game. This year the teams were split up into divisions of East and West. And the Vicksburg Gators had the best record. And they got to host the first ever championship game. Brandon, ball on the Gator 48. And running back moves to the left of the quarterback this time. Shotgun snap, quarterback sweep, and he finds an opening, and it closed quickly. Take it up to the 45, but a tremendous tackle that time by the Gator outside linebacker. Very windy here in Memorial Stadium here. First quarter winding down. For those who don't know, 8th grade football only plays 8 minutes a quarter, so it's not the normal varsity game that we have here. Ball on the 45. Quarterback awaits the snap. Same play, opposite side, picks up all the way to the 39, so it'll be 3rd and short. So that opens up the playbook a little bit more for Brandon here. Big 3rd down here for Brandon. If they want to have any chance in this game, they're going to have to extend this drive and try to put some points on the board. But defensive coordinator Chris Lacey sending in the signal. And the Gators crowd the line. Looks like they're going to blitz on this one. And we have another false start by Brandon, so that will push him back 5 yards. And almost identical to the 4th down play they had, where they had 4th and short looking to go for it. And it appeared that the receiver was trying to get the inside leverage on the slant. But he moved a couple of seconds before the snap came. Brandon still trying to get set. 15 seconds remain in this first quarter. And Brandon is going to take a timeout, and we'll keep it right here. The Gators need a strong defensive stand here. What they would like to do is try to go up by 2 scores. Brandon was threatening before that false start penalty. They had a 3rd and short. The quarterback had a couple of big runs. They took a couple of powers along the left side. They've marched about 20 yards so far. But this Gator defense, they look like they were going to blitz. They're trying to put as much pressure on this quarterback to keep him from having time. And this is what the Gators have done all season long. Only 13 seconds remaining in this first quarter, so barring an incomplete pass, this will probably be the final play of the quarter.
Third down and 7 for your Brandon Bulldogs. Quarterback number 2 is joining the backfield once again by number 8. Brandon come out with a strong to the right side.
Big hole up the middle, running hard inside the 30, all the way down to the 29. Strong run, great play call that time for Brandon. And that will take us into the second quarter. After one, the Vicksburg Junior High Gators lead by the count of 6-0. We'll take a break and we'll be right back after this. Back here for the start of the second quarter, Brandon inching toward the red zone.
Quarterback comes 2 hands off to the fullback out the backfield, and he's stacked up.
A host of Gators that time to stop the power. The Brandon running back, he ended the first half with a strong run. No gain that time, so we'll bring up 2nd and 10.
No gain on the play, bring up 2nd down and 10.
So the Bulldogs started this drive at their own 41. And they have moved it down to their own 26. 2nd and 10 here. Shotgun snap a little high. And that's going to be a bad snap, and the quarterback has to eat it. And so it's going to be a 3rd and long, which is going to be difficult tonight. And the quarterback gets up limping a bit. So now Chris Lacey has the entire defensive playbook open. He can drop in coverage. He can blitz. And with this win, I'm not sure how many times these two teams are going to throw the ball tonight, because the wind in the stadium is very high tonight. Everybody close to the line for both teams. Now they split out wide. 5 receiver set. They roll right, throw back left. Oh, he missed the tight end. Going down the seam, wide open, what could have been a huge play for Brandon. It was a tremendous setup by the coaches. They split an offensive tackle out wide, therefore he was ineligible, but the Gators still covered. And they slipped the tight end down the seam. Just a little too strong that time, and a big break right there for the Gators. 4th and 14.
And it looked like Brandon going to go for it on 4th down.
Ball on the 29-yard line of the Gators. 3 receivers at the bottom, waiting for the shotgun snap, dropped back, throws a fade, goes deep, and he caught it. A tremendous catch for the receiver for Brandon. He high-pointed the ball, brought it down inside the 5-yard line, and Brandon is now in business. And we have looked almost like a stoppage in play, but Brandon now has the ball inside the 5 at the 3. 1st and goal after a remarkable catch by the young receiver. He put air under it, let the receiver go make a play, and that he did. Brandon comes out in what looks like and he walks into the end zone. They went into a wildcat formation. And the running back, who has dominated so far tonight, took it up the right side, found a crease, and looked like he walked into the end zone almost untouched. Same formation, going for the 2-point conversion, same play, and he gets in. And so Brandon, they're going to take the lead here with 5:32 remaining in the first half. We'll take a break and we'll be right back after this.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Back here at Memorial Stadium, live in Vicksburg, Mississippi for the Little Six Championship game. First ever where Brandon has taken the lead 8-6 on a 59-yard drive, and they kick it off here. Short kick fielded at about the 21.
Returning it for the Gators. Like it's going to be number 3.
And he will be stacked up after about an 11-yard return.
He's going to bring it up to about the 20, right about the 21, 22-yard line.
So the Gators haven't been down much this season. A little bit of an unfamiliar territory here. And as we talked about earlier, when these two teams met earlier in the season, it wasn't close. Vicksburg had 3 touchdowns of 50 yards or longer.
Once again, to be
And so tonight, Brandon is making them work for it. They're putting more men in the box.
Hand it off.
Here is the, and he cannot shake loose the tackler.
Dropped in the backfield for a big loss on the play, about 10 yards.
And they tried to run it wide. But the defensive end did not lose contain. And he held on for dear life until he can bring him down. So 2nd and long here for the Gators. They have to get to the 42 for a first down. With 4:35 remaining in the first half, the Vicksburg Gators now trail by the score of 8-6. Man comes in motion, shotgun snap. Bootleg rollout. He tries to drop it off and nearly intercepted off the fingertips of the intended receiver. That was Christian Henderson that couldn't pull it in. And so now the Gators are in an obvious passing situation, 3rd and long. Brandon has done a much better job against this Gator offense than they have in the first game. Alexander waiting for the snap. And we're going to have a timeout by the Gators with 4:17 remaining in the first half. The Gators need to regroup here. A big first down here could extend this drive, and they can essentially take all the time off the clock remaining in the first half and end the half with the lead. So I think this play will be critical here in this championship game for the Gators. Great season for the Gators so far, and a great crowd turned out to support these young men, both on the Brandon side and especially on the Gator side. We also have the Vicksburg Junior High Band here. The team is supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month with the pink towels. The officials have pink flags. Third down and 19. Alexander waiting for the shotgun snap, sends a man in motion. And he's going to take off and run, and he's cut down after about a 4-yard gain. And so it will still be 4th and long. So Alexander looked like he had a crease if he could have shaken loose that tackle. But a tremendous ankle tackle that time by the Brandon Bulldogs. So the Gators would be kicking against the wind.
And it looked like it'd be Derby, number 27.
Julian Demby back deep to punt it away.
Standing in his own
Return man set up shop at the 50. And he will let it bounce. And a great Gator roll down to
down at about the
41-yard line. So him not fielding that punt lost at least 10 yards for Brandon that time. But they still have the lead and the ball with 3:12 remaining in the first half. So ball will be spotted at the 40, so they moved it back a bit. Brandon comes out, two receivers up top, one at the bottom.
Again, it'd be number 8 along with number 2 in the backfield. Quarterback hands it off to number 8.
And hand off to 8 again, and he's going to get stacked up after a gain of about 2. So 2nd and 8 as this clock continues to creep closer
Talk about number 58 and 52 for the Gators.
to the end of the first half.
Johnson along with Hill.
So this is the time that this Gator defense needs to show what it's made of. A turnover here would be huge as we get closer to the half with 2:20 remaining in the first half. Ball on the 42-yard line. One receiver top, 2 at the bottom. Man comes in motion.
Number 3.
And it's a counter. Number 8 gets it, and he's stacked up and gains nothing. Great job to shoot the gap that time and bring him down.
Lost the one on play, bring him 3rd down and 9.
So a 3rd and long situation here. Now, keep in mind the last time that Brandon had a long situation on 4th down, they threw it along the right sideline, picked up a big gain, and apparently the Gators want to talk it over with 1:44 remaining until the half. But last time Brandon had it, they threw it deep, and the receiver high-pointed the ball, brought it down at the 3-yard line. And a play later, they took it into the end zone. And then shortly after that, they come out in the same Wildcat formation and take it up the right side for a 2-point conversion, and that is where we stand now. First ever Little Six Championship game. Glad you guys could join us.
Third down and 9 for Brandon. Once again, it'll be number 2 at quarterback.
So the Gators look like they're going to go with a single high safety. They're showing pressure coming through the B gap, and they do come, and it's a quarterback draw, and he cannot get the first down.
They're going to come up about 3 yards short. For the first down, it's going to be 4th down along 3.
120 and counting. And it looks like Brandon may go for it here as we get closer to the end of the half. 8-6 is the Brandon lead at the moment. Vicksburg took the opening drive down, marched it right down and scored. And the last drive for Brandon, they did the same, but they only converted their 2-point conversion. Trying to draw the Gators off sides. And we're going to have a timeout. And Brandon will take a timeout with 43 seconds until they have. Great job by the defense to not jump off sides, give them the easy first down. Great discipline that time by the young defense. This Gators team has been phenomenal all season long. Their undefeated record is on the line tonight. Normally, they would have been crowned the Little Six championship, but this season things were a little bit different. Split into two divisions, East and West. And here we are tonight on this chilly Wednesday night in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
And Brandon lines up for it on fourth down.
And so Brandon still coming out in the fourth down, looking at a wildcat. And he takes the snap, takes it forward, and we have a stoppage and a false start. The quarterback was leaning forward at the snap. And so that's going to back him up 5.
It looks like it's going to be legal motion, and that's going to notify first down.
The quarterback was a little anxious that time. He was not the person receiving the snap, but he still leaned forward a little bit to try to get the block in quicker.
Bringing fourth in the long 8.
But apparently the officials caught him, and we have a stoppage in time. So the officials are now trying to sort things out at about the 42-yard line. They added 4 seconds back onto the clock. So it will now be 43 seconds as opposed to 39. And it looks like Brandon is still going to go for it. So if the Gators can get a stop here, they will have pretty good field position with a couple of shots at the end zone. Single high safety for the Gators. 2 receivers up top. Man comes in motion, waiting on the shotgun snap. Still trying to draw the Gators off sides, and we have another timeout by Brandon. So they once again tried to draw the Gators off sides, and it did not work. And the Bulldogs are back on the field. And it looks like they will punt it this time. Punter standing at his own 34-yard line. Return man standing at his own 34-yard line. And here's the punt. High punt. And a Brandon roll. All the way down inside. Let's call it the 23 and a half. So with 32 seconds remaining until the half, the Gators are trailing 8-6. Only one good drive from both of these teams. The only difference right now is the Wildcat snap to the running back for the 2-point conversion.
Gators trailing by 2. Get the ball at their own 23-yard line. And the Gators open up with a spread offense.
So Alexander at quarterback, 2 receivers up top, 2 at the bottom of his screen. Man comes in motion, drop back, has time. Now the pressure comes. Alexander takes off, great move. Alexander gets along the boundary, and he's going to get out of bounds at about the 35, and that's right at the marker. So a nifty move by Alexander. And they are going to move the chains. So with 22 seconds remaining, the Gators need a big play here if they're thinking about getting a score before the end of the half. Alexander awaiting the call. Trips up to the top of the screen. Single receiver at the bottom. Alexander takes the snap.
Alexander drops back. Alexander
Throws a
stands
deep
forward.
ball, and it would be caught off the rebound. He fumbled 30, 20, cut down at the 13-yard line. Tremendous throw and catch. And with 12 seconds remaining, the Gators are now in position to score off the throw from Alexander. The clock does not start till the chain set. And so they're trying to get the play call in. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. And we have a timeout by the Gators. And I think the Gator coaches are a bit upset because the chains are still not set.
Inside the Bulldog 13 yards.
And now we have 5 seconds run off the clock, so that could have been another play or two. And with only 7 seconds, you only get so many shots at the end zone. So that 5 seconds that ran off could be big. But again, a tremendous play that time for the Gators. He kept his concentration. He brought the pass down. He actually fumbled it a bit while running. And he was cut down at about the 13-yard line. So the Gators come out with trips to the top of the screen. 7 seconds remaining in the first half. Gators trail by 2. Brandon, only one down lineman, and they'll call a timeout. So Brandon was looking to drop about 7 or 8 in coverage. And I think they got the idea of what the Gators were going to do, and they want to talk it over. But again, 5 seconds ran off while the chains were not set. So whatever the Gators need to come up with here, it needs to be a good play because you cannot take a sack. What an entertaining first half this has been for these two teams. Championship game on the line, and they're coming with everything they've got.
Gators come out in timeout. Spread offense.
Gators come out, same formation. Trips to the top. Alexander awaiting the snap.
Blackmore in the backfield with Alexander. Alexander
Drops back.
Alexander
Throws a deep fade route. Knocked away.
gonna be attended for number 18. Smith.
3 seconds remaining.
No good. 3 seconds left in the first half.
3 seconds remaining in the first half. Gators trail by 2. And it looks like they're going to take another shot at the end zone. So Alexander has one more shot at this before the end of the half, unless we have a penalty.
Gonna be the last play of the first half.
Shotgun snap. Alexander looking to take off. And a great move inside the 10. There's a flag down inside the 5. Touchdown, but there is a flag down. 3 flags down. And this one is going to come back. It's a holding.
Flags on the field.
Alexander put on a great move, but we see 3 flags down on the field, holding at the 14-yard line. And that has to be a backbreaker for the Gators. Alexander did the work himself. They're going to take it back. None of it matters.
Face mask against the Bulldogs, so it's going to be
Oh, this one is going to offset. So the Gators, they're going to have one more shot at it. So we have a face mask and a holding. So Alexander gets one more shot at it. Untimed down. Ball still resting at the 13-yard line. Same formation, trips at the top. Brandon with one down lineman. Shotgun snap, Alexander sees pressure. He sees the pylon. Is he going to get there? And he did not get in. He came up 1 yard short. It looked like from this angle that he had the corner. And he fumbled it. So it was going to be a touchback. And that will be the end of the first half. Glad you guys could join us from the Little Six Championship game from Vicksburg, Mississippi, where at the end of the first half, Brandon will lead the Vicksburg Gators by the score of 8-6. We'll take a break and we'll be back with second half action. Back here for the start of the second half of the Little Six Championship game between the Vicksburg Junior High Gators and the Brandon Bulldogs. The difference in this game so far has been a 2-point conversion converted by Brandon, and they hold the lead 8-6. We're about 20 seconds away from the start of the second half in this first ever Little Six Championship game. The Gators come back to the sideline. To end the half, we had Ronnie Alexander on the first play. He took it in for a touchdown, but we had a holding on the Gators at the 14-yard line. But that penalty was offset by a face mask by the defense, and then they came back on the next play. Alexander took it and fought for the pylon, but he fumbled the ball out of bounds trying to reach for the score. And that is where we sit right now. 8-6 is the Brandon lead. A great crowd here at Vicksburg Memorial Stadium. And we are set to kick this ball off to start the second half. Ball will be kicked off from the 40. A chilly night out here at Memorial Stadium. A windy night at Memorial Stadium. And here's the kick from the 40. Great kick all the way back to the 18. And he gets stacked up at the 30. Well, they give him, the 30. And so a 12-yard return, and the Gators would get the ball to start the second half. And star quarterback Ronnie Alexander will come out looking to capitalize on the momentum of the last drive that ended inside the 1-yard line before he fumbled the ball out of bounds, trying to make a play and reach for the end zone.
Alexander opened up the second half at his own 30-yard line.
Alexander sends the man in motion. Gives it to the running back. Big hole up to the 40 and dragged down at about the 43.5-yard line. Second and short. But the Gators come out with a big play and exactly what they needed to kick the second half off.
75 on the tackle for the Bulldogs.
And remember, 8th grade football only has 8 minutes a quarter. Man comes in motion. Alexander will keep it this time. He has the first down. Sandwich at the 45. But again, it is a Gator first down, so move those chains for the Vicksburg Gators. So Alexander gets the first down carry. Gators go with trips to the top of your screen. Here's the quarterback sweep for Alexander. He has a hole around the left side. He's at the 40 and looks like he's out of bounds at about the 35. So already a great drive, an aggressive drive for the Vicksburg Gators. They gave it to the playmaker, Alexander. It was a simple quarterback sweep. He followed the running back block, and he had a nice crease on the outside, and he took it. Ball at the 35, same play, other side. Alexander gets to the 30, gets to the 25, and they're going to mark him out at about the 26. So Alexander taking this offense down the field with ease this drive.
26-yard line.
9-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 1.
And about 1.
Trips formation at the bottom. Pistol set. Snap to Alexander. Give to the running back. Big hole. He has the first down and a couple of more. And he gets stacked up at about the 23, but it's still a Gator first down. Well, this Gator offense have been moving effortlessly down the field. And Brandon has not been able to stop them this drive so far. 6:20 remaining, third quarter. And it has been mostly Alexander this drive. Alexander sends the running back in motion, looks that way, throws the screen, and it was a live ball. So apparently the ball was fumbled, a lateral rather. And the Brandon coach is all the way out to the hash mark, so he is not happy. But the Gators will have it 1st and goal. So Brandon coach has called a timeout. He has walked all the way across the field to argue this call. It looked like it was an incomplete pass, but great awareness by the Gators to pick it up and run with it, even though the whistle had not blown. The whistle didn't blow, so you play until the whistle. And just like that, the Gators have the ball at the 7-yard line, 1st and goal. Sticks haven't moved, but the officials have.
And looks like it's going to be first down, Gators.
So a 1st and goal for the Gators on a pass that looked to be incomplete. The receiver picked it up, ran along the sideline, and took it inside the 10. And so it's going to be a 1st and goal at the 7. Alexander.
And it looks like it's going to bring up 1st and goal.
And the Brandon coach is still on the field making a case that that pass was incomplete, but the chain gang has dropped the stick, so this one is in concrete at this point. Alexander sends a man in motion. He's going to take the snap, gives it to the running back inside the 5, down inside the 2. This is going to bring up 2nd and goal. 5:45 remaining, third quarter. First drive of the half for the Gators, and they have been phenomenal driving the ball down the field here.
2nd and goal.
Man comes in motion, same play. Alexander keeps it, takes the hit, and he carries it in for a touchdown. Gators reclaim the lead. A read option. He read the defensive end. He bit on the running back, and they took it in for a touchdown. So the Gators with the lead of 12-8. Looks like they're going to go for it. They are. Quarterback keeper, he gets in. Just like that, the Gators have a 6-point lead, 14-8. And we'll take a break and we'll be right back after this.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
back here at Memorial Stadium, live in Vicksburg, Mississippi for the Little Six Championship game. Vicksburg Gators have now reclaimed the lead, and they set to kick it off. Short kick, fielded at about the 38-yard line, and that is where Brandon will take over. And that was a championship-type drive led by Ronnie Alexander. So now the Gator defense back on the field. Beautiful crowd here for both teams. Championship atmosphere for these young men. 8th grade, 7th grade for some. But Brandon has not laid down. Here they come, split back in the backfield. One receiver top, one receiver bottom. Looks like power football here. They give it to the running back, takes it along the right tackle. Looks like a flag is down. Excuse me, that was a player towel. .435 remaining, third quarter. The Gators will lead 14-8, but Brandon has the ball now. Split set back. Same play, but quarterback keeps it this time, takes it along the right side, picks up about 4, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and short. So a little bit of the read option that time, and he let the running back lead block.
Bringing up 3rd and about 2.
3rd and short for Brandon. They have been great in these situations so far in this game. Also, don't forget, Brandon is not afraid to go for it on 4th down. Third and short. Quarterback keeper. He's going to take it and a crackback block, and that one is going to come back. The quarterback picked up the 1st down, but all across football now they are cracking down on blindside blocks, and that one was textbook that time. And this one is going to come back. So that 1st down will be nullified, and Brandon will now be setting up shop in a 3rd and long in their own territory. Three minutes and 34 seconds remaining, third quarter. This one is going to back Brandon up deep in their own territory. What looked like to be a 1st down and on the move. This one is going to take them back 15. In an obvious passing situation for Brandon. Remember, at the end of near the end of the 1st half, they went for it on 4th down, dropped it in the bucket all the way down to the 3-yard line, and 2 plays later, they took it in from the Wildcat. Gators showing blitz, single high safety. Brandon, 2 receivers top. Tight end comes in motion.
Number 8 along with number 2 quarterback in the backfield. 14 comes in motion.
Back in motion. Still quarterback keeper. He finds a bit of a crease, but it's not nearly enough for a 1st down. And it's going to bring up 4th and about, let's call it 7.
And going to bring up
4th and 6. It looks like Brandon is going to go for it again. This is a big moment in this game. Already down to about 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the third quarter. You do not get a lot of drives in this game. These teams have battled it out all night long. But with 2:30 remaining in the third quarter, this is going to be big because if they do not get it, the Gators will keep the momentum and field position. And we have a stoppage in play. And Brandon will take a timeout because the play clock was running down. What a game so far between these young men. 8th grade junior high football championship. You can see the athleticism already. The coaches have put in a lot of work with these young men. I know for the Gators especially, I can see the videos and the workout that they put in the summer, and it has paid off all season long. One of the few times that they have been down this season within this game tonight, when Brandon marched down the field off that big reception along the right sideline. But the Gators came out in the second half. Alexander could not punch it in near the end of the first half, but they came out with that same intensity, and they now lead 14-8 with 2:20 remaining in the third quarter. Glad you guys could join us tonight for this championship game. TJ Mayfield on the call. Chilly night here in Memorial Stadium. 4th down. 3 receivers up top. Shotgun snap, drops back, throws deep, has a man. Nearly intercepted, but, 2 flags come out. 2 flags come out. And this is probably going to be a pass interference and then first down for the Brandon Bulldogs. So the Gators were about to get the ball at about the Brandon 42-yard line.
Flag on the play.
But the flags came out.
It looked like it's going to be pass interference.
And a 15-yard penalty for the Bulldogs. The ball moves up to the Gator 41.
To the 41-yard line inside Gators territory. First down, Bulldog.
So the Bulldogs, they were saved by the penalty, and now they're in business. Quarterback keeps it up the middle. Not much doing that time. Maybe a gain of a yard. Brings up 2nd and 9.
Number 11, Catlin. Pick up 1 on the play. Bring up 2nd down. And 9.
Second and 9. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line.
Come up to the line of scrimmage.
2 receivers up top, 1 at the bottom. Shotgun snap, gives it to the running back. Oh, nice tackle that time. Along the left side. Wasn't much room for the running back that time.
Talk about number 34, Blackmore.
It's going to bring up a 3rd and 6. 1:10 remaining. Third quarter championship game here at Memorial Stadium. Gators with the lead, 14-8. But Brandon starting to drive. Man comes in motion to the left. Looks like a counter, and they give it to the running back. Big hole, first down and a bit more, all the way down inside the 30-yard line. No flags on that play. You have a Gator player who says that he was held. No flag came out, but Brandon is driving again. So the Gators looking for a big stop here.
Inside the Gators 27-yard line. Bulldogs driving.
30 seconds remaining, third quarter. 2 receivers top, 1 at the bottom. Running back shifts over to the left hip of the quarterback. The give is to the running back. He finds another hole along the right side inside the 10. And he's going to be cut down at about the 8-yard line. And it will bring up 1st and goal for the Bulldogs of Brandon.
First down, Bulldogs going to bring up 1st and goal.
A simple give, a power along the right side. He found a crease. He's been running hard all night long. And just like that, Brandon is knocking on the door. 1st and goal. And that is going to be the end of the third quarter. 14-8 is the Gator lead. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back with fourth quarter action.
Once you get to Alcorn, it's kind of like there's a place for everybody. I fell in love with the people.
Overall, I love the experience, whether it's personal, whether it's in education. Anywhere you turn, there's always a helping hand.
People just going up and asking you, hey, are you new, are you lost, you know, and taking an interest.
I would tell students if they want to be challenged, to learn and grow and be in an environment that is nurturing, in a place where they're not just a number, where people know you by name, then I would tell them to come to Alcorn.
Little Six Championship, live from Vicksburg, Mississippi. 8 minutes remaining in the final quarter. This is a big drive for Brandon. Not a lot of opportunities for these two teams. The first time the Gators had 30 points, and 3 of those touchdowns came on drives, on touchdowns 50 yards or longer. But here, Brandon is knocking on the door. First and goal, 8-yard line. Running back shifts to the left hip. The give is to the running back. And he shakes loose. Tackler still running hard inside the 5. Down to the 2-yard line. Will bring up second and goal. Fourth quarter just starting. Remember, this is the first ever Little Six Championship game.
Number 8 takes it down to about the 2-yard line.
Same formation they scored on last time. Wildcat formation, heavy set. And we have a stoppage in play. Stoppage in play. The officials come out to discuss it. So as they try to sort it out, we see that Brandon came out in that heavy set, a Wildcat heavy set that is, and same formation, but the quarterback is now going to be the one receiving the snap. So everybody at the line of scrimmage now, and the officials are not ready. The referee is over talking to the Brandon head coach. What a game this has been between these two great teams. Coach Carter alluded to it earlier. He said that he knew Brandon would be a little bit tougher than they were earlier in the season. And it's showing. They're knocking on the door. Second and goal. They have given the Gators everything that they have. So the officials go back to their respective spots now. And it looks like with 7:18 remaining, we're ready to play some championship football again here. Second and goal. Ball at the 2-yard line. Brandon's quarterback waiting for the snap. Oh, and he will walk into the end zone. What looked like to be a bit of a false start is a walk-in touchdown for Brandon.
And that's going to tie the ball game.
And this is going to be the key here. If the Gators can stop Brandon from getting this 2-point conversion, it will still be a tie game with 7:03 remaining. So Brandon setting up to go for 2 with 7:03 remaining. And at this point, this is the biggest play of the game.
Touchdown Bulldog, they're going to tie the ball.
Here we go. 2-point conversion try. Same wildcat formation with the running back and the heavy set. And the official will come in.
Correction on the clock. 7 minutes and 10 seconds left in the ball game.
And they add 7 seconds to the clock. Here we go. Shotgun snap. They give it to the running back, and he stood up, and he drives in for the 2-point conversion. And Brandon has taken the lead, 16-14, off that phenomenal run by Brandon's running back.
We take the lead, but the 2-point conversion good, and the Bulldogs go up by a score.
16-14 is the lead. We're going to keep it right here for the remainder of this game with 7:10 remaining. This Gator team has to put together a drive if they want to walk away as champions. They're not going to get too many more cracks at it. This is a time where you need, number one, Ronnie Alexander, the quarterback, to show that athleticism and put together a championship drive. Well, we talked about it earlier. Brandon has not laid down. They came right out. They showed the Gator offense what they could do. And here we are. The only difference in this game, Brandon has converted 2 of their 2-point conversions, and the Gators have only completed 1. So with 7:10 remaining, Brandon set to kick this ball off from the 40. The ball will be fielded at the 35 along the right sideline, all the way up to about the 47. So Alexander will need 50-plus yards to find pay dirt here, because with how high the wind is tonight, I doubt that the coaches of Vicksburg will put the championship on the foot of their kicker tonight.
Once again, it'll be Jefferson and Alexander in the backfield.
Alexander, 2 receivers top, 2 in the bottom. Send the man in motion to give it to the running back. Big hole. It closed quickly, but he did pick up about 7.
Pick up about 7 yards on the play. Bring up 2nd down.
Let's call it 2nd and a long 4.
Jefferson on the carry. Bring up 3rd down. And
6.5 minutes remaining. Little Six championship game on the line. Here's Alexander. He takes it, and he's going to be close to the 1st down marker. And apparently the ball came out, and the officials say he's down, but he is still close to the marker.
Alexander going to be right at the.
And it's going to be 3rd and short.
Going to bring up 3rd down.
And with 6 minutes remaining, and the way the clock is ticking,
1.
This could be the Gators' final drive. And Brandon is selling out at the line of scrimmage. They're going to send pressure, single high safety. Gators send a man in motion, trying to draw him off sides. Doesn't happen. Running back, set back in the pistol set. They give it to him. Big hole, 40, 35. Dropped at about the 31-yard line.
No flag on the play. 1st down, Gators.
Big hole
12 yards on the play.
between the center and the guard. And that was a much-needed 1st down, 5:35 and ticking. Alexander awaiting the play call. Bulldogs again stacking the box. The give is up the middle, and he shakes loose a couple of tacklers. He's still driving all the way down to close to the 25-yard line. So it looked like what probably should have been a pickup of about 2 is a pickup of 5. Inside the 4-minute mark now. 4:45 and counting. Alexander, 2 receivers top, 2 at the bottom, running back to his right. Man comes in motion. Alexander takes a carry. He takes a carry along the right side at the 20, 15, 10, 5, takes it in. Touchdown, Gators. Oh, man, looks like we do have a flag down at the 12-yard line. It's so far on the opposite side of the field, it was hard to see, and it is a holding, and this one is going to come back. Alexander showed the speed and athleticism, ran the read option, got the corner, took it in. And it was so far on the other side of the field that we couldn't see it initially. But the Gators are going to have to wipe that touchdown off the board. Still 4:24 remaining in 2nd down and 1 now. That one is in the pass. It would have been a great touchdown, but now we have to do it again. 2nd and 1 at the 22. Man comes in motion to give it to the running back. He has a big hole. He has a 1st down and more. Still driving inside the 15.
And it's going to be 1st down, Gators.
We hate to wipe the touchdown off the board, but with this predicament the Gators are in now, they could even score and wipe some more time off the clock. So this could be a great thing in disguise for the Gators as they are now inside the 3-minute mark.
1st down, Gators.
Brandon still leads 16-14. Gators inside the red zone. Man comes in motion. Low snap. Alexander keeps it inside the 10. Pickup of about 6, maybe 7, depending on where they spot it. What a championship game this has been. The atmosphere is electric. The Gator fans are on the edge of their seat. Brandon needs a stop. But here's Ronnie Alexander, man in the pistol. They run a toss to the wide side of the field. 1st down, and he walks in the end zone.
And the indication no flags on the play. Gators touchdown.
And the signal comes up for a touchdown. 20 Gators, 16 Bulldogs. 2-point conversion coming up, and this one is also big. So the Gator defense needs one more stop this season to be champions. A stoppage in play here at Memorial Stadium. Great crowd on this chilly Wednesday night in Vicksburg, Mississippi for the Little Six Championship game, where the Gators have just reclaimed the lead over the Brandon Bulldogs. They added 4 seconds to the clock. Shotgun snap, and running back trying to get wide. Does he get the corner? He does. 2-point conversion good. Gators now lead 22-16 with 3:05 remaining.
Keep it around the right side. 2-point conversion good. The Gators go up by 6.
A big drive, championship drive right there for the Gators. Much needed. And the Gators right now only 3 minutes and 5 seconds away from their first Little Six title since the year of 2005. Gators are now set to kick this ball off. 3:05 remaining in regulation. The two-point conversion the Gators converted was big because even if Brandon scores a touchdown, it does not automatically mean a victory. We still can see overtime in this game, but the Gators are looking for a stop. Kickoff on the 40 is short, and it's going to be fielded at the 47-yard line. So Brandon only needs 53 yards and 3 minutes to tie this game up.
And the short kick by the Gators, giving the Bulldogs tremendous field position. We'll be at their own 47-yard line.
Here we go. Quarterback awaiting the snap. He gives it to the running back. He finds a crease. He is across midfield all the way up in Gator territory. At the 46, Brandon is now in a hurry-up mode. Two receivers at the bottom, one at the top. Same play. And he's stacked up, but he's still driving. And a pickup of maybe two. 2:35 remaining in this championship game.
58 on the stop.
All the Gators need now is one stop.
Bring up third down and a long 2.
3rd and 2. Gators selling out at the line of scrimmage. One single high safety.
Once again,
quarterback keeper. He's trying to get the edge, and he gets it, gets out of bounds after picking up the first down.
and no flag on the play.
So all the way up to the 40-yard line, 2:11 remaining. Great job by the quarterback that time to pick up the first down and get out of bounds and save some of that clock. And looks like a penalty is going to go against the Gators. Wow.
And it looked like it's going to be a penalty against the Gators.
Oh, a personal foul. So a 15-yard penalty moves it all the way down to the 25-yard line. So apparently a late hit out of bounds moved the ball 15 yards to the Gator 25. And with 2:11 remaining, the Gators are going to need to get a big stop here to keep the Bulldogs out of the end zone. Brandon in the shotgun, waiting on the snap. Quarterback keeper, not much doing that time.
No game on the play.
Looked like he maybe even lost a yard that time. Inside a minute remaining, 1:55 and counting. Gator defense needs one stop at this point.
Bring up second down and 11.
The wind has settled a bit, so I would not be surprised to see Brandon put it in the air with 1:40 and ticking. Ball spotted at the Gator 26-yard line. Gators holding on to a 6-point lead. Brandon gets up to the line. Two receivers at the bottom, one at the top. And we're going to have a stoppage in play, a false start.
It's going to be a flag on the play. Look like illegal motion against number 8.
False start
And that's going to
on Brandon. They got a little antsy that time, tried to get a head start on it. And the officials caught it, and they're going to move back 5 to the 31.
push the ball all the way back to the 31-yard line.
So Brandon needs 31 yards to tie this game up now. 124. The clock inside 80 seconds. Man comes in motion. Shotgun snap. And incomplete pass. Double covered that time. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and long. 1 minute, 6 seconds remaining. Brandon has the ball at the Gator 31-yard line. Championship game on the line. Trips to the bottom of the screen. Waiting the snap. Gets the snap. Looking, throws it deep. And caught! And caught inside the 10. Down to about the 7-yard line. 59 seconds remaining. Once again, the receiver went up, high pointed the ball in double coverage, brought it down, and now only 4 plays remain for the Bulldogs. Brandon trying to get lined up, and it looks like they're going to take a timeout. What a game this has been. Brandon backed up, 3rd and long. They throw a fade route in double coverage. And they are inside the 10, down to about the 7. 50 seconds remaining. Quarterback gets the snap, hands off to the running back, and he only gains a yard. 43 seconds to count now. Brandon, and the time looks like we're going to have a timeout. With 40 seconds remaining, Brandon only has 3 plays. No more first downs. Only need the end zone now. And if you're the Gators, 1 stop over the next 3 plays. You need to keep them from reaching pay dirt, and you will be the Little Six champions. What a game this has been. Back and forth all night long. The Gators took it down. Ronnie Alexander led the team down to a touchdown. And they are here right now fighting to keep the Bulldogs out of the end zone. Only 7 yards separate these teams now. Here's the snap, quarterback, and we have a stoppage in play. And it looks like the officials are going to add some time onto the clock. So the stoppage in play benefited Brandon because looks like the Gators had that one sniffed out. So with 40 seconds, 22-16 is the Vicksburg Gator lead. And Brandon comes out in the heavy set Wildcat formation. They give it to the running back, and he's in the end zone. Tied ball game. 35 seconds remaining. Smart play, great awareness by the running back. He normally takes that snap and runs it along the right tackle. This time, he went against the grain, took it up the left side, ran through a couple of defenders, and took it into the end zone. But here it is, tie ball game. Gators need a stop on this 2-point conversion, and they're going to take a timeout and talk it over.
Timeout Gators.
So the Gators, biggest play of their season, undefeated record on the line. Brandon came into Memorial Stadium, and they're giving the Gators all they can handle, and right now with 35 seconds remaining. It's coming down to one play. Coach Chris Lacey in, defensive coordinator, trying to dial something up to keep the Bulldogs from getting this two-point conversion. Excellent crowd tonight, and they turned out to see a great game. 22 all, 35 seconds remaining. Brandon coming out, looking to take the lead on the two-point conversion. Wildcat snap, running back takes it, and he won't get in. He will not get in, and the game will stay tied at 22. Great defensive stop that time by the Gators. They did not allow Brandon to push. They got penetration up the middle, gang tackle the running back, and they lead the score at 22 all. There are still 35 seconds on the clock. So this does not necessarily mean overtime. Brandon set to kick the ball off from the 40, 22 all. Barring any negative plays for the Gators, they may play for overtime at this point. Great defensive stand that time for the Gators. Here's Brandon set to kick it off from the 40. They get the signal. And here's the kick. A squib kick, and it's going to be caught. Oh, it's still on the ground. And looks like the ball, fortunately for the Gators, went out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. So that was almost heartbreaking for the Gators to give Brandon the ball. It was short field. 34 seconds remaining. Let's see how the Gators play it here. Ronnie Alexander has had a phenomenal game so far. 22-22 is the score. Gators come out with trips to the top. Alexander awaiting the snap. And he's looking to run, and he's bottled up. And he's not going to gain a lot. Clock ticking. Stops at 27 with a timeout.
Timeout Gators.
This is nothing short of what we expected for this Little Six championship game so far. The Gators came right out first drive, marched it down the field, scored, and then Brandon came right back, marched down the field, got the two-point conversion, led 8-6 at the half. Gators came right back after the half, first drive, drove it down the field with Alexander, took it into the end zone, converted the two-point conversion. Brandon came back, scored, went up 16-14, and both of these teams in the fourth quarter have scored, and now we sit at 22-22. Alexander, snap, and he's going to take off and not going to get much, up to about the 41.
Talk about number 14.
And clock is going to be stopped with a timeout by the Gators with 21 seconds. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 4 from the 40-yard line. And if I'm the Gators here, I take a deep shot. So great effort by that Gator defense to keep Brandon from taking the lead. And here we are. All of these young men have put everything that they have into this game tonight. But with 21 seconds, it's still far from over for these two teams. Little Six championship game. 21 seconds in regulation. Alexander rolls out. He's looking to throw, and he's going to be bottled up and nearly intercepted. Nearly intercepted that time. Thankfully, it wasn't for the Gators. But with 15 seconds remaining, ball at their own 41-yard line. Let's see what the Gators do here.
Third down, fourth down, and 4.
15 ticks on the clock. 22 all for the Gators.
Fourth down and 4, and the Gators at their own 31-yard line. 15 seconds left in the ball game. Regulation time.
Brandon, 3 down lineman. Alexander has the man in the pistol. They're going to run a reverse. And looks like a throw. He's going to throw it deep, and he overshot him. He had a man wide open who could have taken it into the end zone. But they left Brandon with 8 seconds on the clock. And if I'm the Gators here, all I want is to get into overtime. So the Gators with a little bit of trickery here.
8 seconds left in regulation time.
We had a man streaking down the field wide open. Nobody within 3 yards of him. But he was overshot by about 5 yards. And here we are, 8 seconds remaining in regulation. Ball game tied at 22. Glad you guys could join us for this Little Six championship game. TJ Mayfield on the call. An exciting game so far. Vicksburg looking to have 4 down linemen. Brandon coming out. 2 receivers up top, 2 at the bottom. The man to watch is the receiver at the bottom of the screen. Snap and caught. Driven out of bounds at about the 34. 3 seconds remaining. 22 all. Maybe a bit of a Hail Mary here for the Bulldogs. So if you're Vicksburg, you're going to have to get some pressure to keep him from stepping into this throw. Gators undefeated season on the line. Quarterback for Brandon leaves the sideline. Here we go.
Number 2 brings the offense up to the line of scrimmage.
Gators, Brandon has a little bit of confusion here. And we're going to stop play and a delay of game. So that's going to back them up 5. So Brandon was a little bit confused. And they're going to lose a lot of what they just gained. So Brandon needs 39 yards on this play if they would like to be champions in regulation. Here we go. Trips up top. Shotgun snap. He rolls that way. Throws it with everything on it. Knocked away. And we'll be heading to overtime in this championship game. So with that, tied at 22, we'll take a break and be right back with the overtime period here in this championship game. Period here. And the Gator defense will be on the field first. So if the Gators can get a stop and they give the ball back to Ronnie Alexander, the Gators could possibly walk away with the championship here on this chilly night in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Little Six title on the line. First time ever in the history of the Little Six Conference we have a championship game for the junior high middle school class, and it has lived up to its billing so far. Back and forth, the highs, the lows between these two teams, and here we are. The officials break huddle. Brandon now breaking the huddle. No time on the clock. And of course, at this level, there is no kickoff. 4 plays to get 10 yards for these two teams. And Brandon comes out in that heavy set with their punishing running back, looking to take the Wildcat snap. He does. Takes it along the left side, picks up about 5. The entire first 3 quarters, he took that snap and would take it off tackle right side. Now, with the heavy set, he's taking it almost on a counter to the left side. And it's difficult for the Gators to sniff out which way he's going. Same formation, Wildcat formation. Snap, right side this time, inside the 5, inside the 3. 3rd and goal. So Brandon is now just playing power football. Hat on a hat, and who's going to come out on top? .22 all. Ball spotted at the 3-yard line. Same formation. They give it to the running back along the left side, and he was knocked down, but he's still driving. So it looked like to be a loss of 2. He regained his composure, took it back up to the line of scrimmage, and it will be 4th and goal for the Brandon Bulldogs. Ball spotted, left hash, 3-yard line. Gator crowd starting to get into it, understanding what a stop could mean right here. Brandon looking to get the right play call in, rushing to the line of scrimmage. 4th and goal from the 3, and we're going to have a timeout before this play. Brandon took a lot of time, probably was looking at a delay of game if they did not call timeout. Yeah, this Gator defense has been stout in the 4th quarter and here in this overtime period. 1 stop is all it takes now to give the ball back to Ronnie Alexander, only needing 10 yards. And if you look at Alexander on the sideline now, meeting with teammates, trying to come up with a plan to put this game away. But first, his defense has to come up with a stop and give him the opportunity. Both teams break the huddle out of the timeout.
And we in overtime with the score tied 22-22.
And so with Brandon, same formation this entire drive. Here we go, 4th and goal. Heavy set, Wildcat.
In the backfield.
Power football, snap. Goes along the right side, and he doesn't get in. He does not get in. The Gator defense does it once again. No flags on the field. And so now Alexander only needing 10 yards, and the Gators will be Little Six champions. Great defensive stand for the Gators, not only there, But at the end of regulation, to keep the game tied at 22, and here we are with the Gators only needing 10 yards on 4 plays, they can end it. Undefeated season on the line. Tough battle here in this championship game.
Joining in the backfield is Jefferson, number 12.
Gators come out, trips at the bottom of the screen. Singles receiver at the top. Alexander goes quarterback sweep, and he cannot get away. He loses 2.
Back at about the 11-yard line. Second down.
So the defensive end that time for Brandon shot the gap, read it perfectly, and made sure Alexander did not get out on the boundary, pulled him down for a loss of 2. So the Gators now have 3 plays to find pay dirt. Gators get the call. Remember, there's no time in overtime.
Lost of 2 yards in play. Back at the 12-yard line.
Second and goal. Ball spotted at the 12. Man comes in motion. The give is to the running back. Find the big hole. He gets inside the 10, still driving. And down to about the 8-yard line. Third and goal. Some hard hitting going on tonight. A lot of heart shown by both of these teams. Gators now only have 2 plays to find the end zone. And if they don't, we will head to a second overtime.
Gators at the 7-yard line. Third down. Third and goal.
Trips at the top. Alexander has a man on the screen at the 10. 5 makes a move. Down to the 1-yard line.
Bring up 4th down.
4th and goal. Only needing 1.5 yards for the Gators.
And 4th and 2 at the 2-yard line.
And the Gators are going to take a timeout. They need the best play they can find in the playbook to keep from going to overtime number 2. Tremendous game, great atmosphere, chilly night here for this Little Six championship game. Brandon has came out, shown a lot of heart. And if they want to fight on, they're going to need a stop here on the Vicksburg Gators. Gators break the huddle. Bulldogs break the huddle.
And it's going to be 4th down for the Gators.
4th and goal. Ball spotted on the left hash. They have the entire right side of the field if they want to work over this way. 2 receivers up top, 2 at the bottom. Alexander sends a man in motion. Snap, goes to the running back, and Alexander takes it in! That's the game! Gators are champions! Alexander called his own number, took it in, and for the first time since 2005, the Vicksburg Gators are Little Six champions. What a game this has been. You can see the team celebrating on the field. The trophy presentation will be at the 50-yard line. And the coaches are trying to direct the players over to the 50 to receive the Little Six championship trophy. They're going to shake hands, and the Gators will walk away with an undefeated season, unblemished record, and most importantly, they will be the champions. Glad you guys could join us tonight And with the final score 28-22, the Vicksburg Gators will walk away with the victory.